Hello, I would like to tell you facts about Chuck Norris. Listen and enjoy. Chuck Norris doesn't swim. He pushes the ocean out of his way. Chuck Norris logged on MSN through the display of washing machines. At Halloween, ghosts and monsters interact the campfire telling Chuck Norris stories. Chuck Norris' idea of practical joke is the one. Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris wasn't born a baby. He was born a man. Chuck Norris once was caught his own staring mirror. Space-time has yet to recover. It is an obvious fact that Chuck Norris had been to Mars, seen as there is no absolutely life on Mars. The atom bombs which were dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima never went off. Chuck Norris just stomped on an egg at the same time they hit the ground. When someone is in trouble, it's a job for Superman. When the Superman is in trouble, it's a job for Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris taught your girlfriend the things you like. He also taught her the things you don't. Chuck Norris' shadow stays 10 steps behind him in fear of roundhouse kick. Chuck Norris can fit 10 gallons of water in 5 gallons of bucket. You don't see the woman's face in Tom and Jerry because Chuck Norris' roundhouse kicked her through the TV. In Soviet Russia, Chuck Norris doesn't kill people. Oh wait, yes he does. No one tells Chuck Norris what to do. Chuck Norris can write with an eraser. Chuck Norris can roundhouse kick the stupid out of person along with everything else. Scientists are trying to know what keeps atoms together. It's as easy as look at Chuck Norris' picture. Hospitals were invented the day after Chuck Norris was born. Chuck Norris grills bear for breakfast. If you don't know whose bear grills, I'm sorry. Chuck Norris can make noise in outer space. Santa Claus doesn't watch you sleep, but Chuck Norris does. Chuck Norris once shot someone with a knife. Chuck Norris didn't need to study in middle school. The teacher weren't brave enough to fail him. When Chuck Norris goes to the airport, TSA agents grove themselves. The only thing Chuck Norris doesn't know that the window crashed. It was too scared to crash in front of him. I've got some good news and some bad news. The bad news is Chuck Norris is about to kill you with a roundhouse kick to the face. Chuck Norris can make fish blink. Chuck Norris was once awoken by a rooster. On a roundhouse kick later, the hand was invented. Simple. By pulling on both hands, Chuck Norris can stretch diamonds back into coal. Most living creatures have flight response to danger. Both are futile in the face of Chuck Norris, who, by the way, doesn't do flight. It has been said that the only thing that can make Chuck Norris cry is a picture of himself cried. It doesn't exist. Chuck Norris can breathe through his ears. Nostradamus' prophecy has been uncovered. Armageddon, Chuck Norris are one and the same. Chuck Norris can travel through time. The fact alone explains Jesus and so inspiration for the art of war and how roundhouse kicks came to be. We were bound by laws of gravity to Chuck Norris merely suggestions. Bruce Lee, and only mistaken life, was teaching Chuck Norris the roundhouse kick. If Chuck Norris was Harry Potter, there would be no series. Cars were invented to have a faster way of freeing from Chuck Norris. Not to be outdone, Chuck Norris invented the car accident. Chuck Norris. Every time Chuck Norris blinks, the star is created. Chuck Norris once killed 37 terrorists with only 2 bullets. The first bullet was a warning shot. Chuck Norris ran a Windows Vista. It has never crashed. When Chuck Norris gets angry, forests explode through their own boiling sap. When Chuck Norris laughs, flowers bloom and butterflies hatch. When Apollo 13 said, Houston, we've got a problem, NASA got help from Chuck Norris. Bruce Lee was reincarnated after as Chuck Norris bird. Chuck Norris can slam a revolving door. Chuck Norris is always on time. Yet, somehow he arrives fashionably late. During Christmas, kids don't sit on Santa laps, they sit in Chuck Norris. Correct sentence structure. Yoda used. Before Chuck Norris food, he met. Chuck Norris doesn't kill weeds. He dared them to grow. Chuck Norris does not eat. Food understands that the only safe haven from Chuck Norris' fist is inside his own body. When Chuck Norris was born, the only person who cried was the doctor. H1N1 region was a Chuck Norris. Then the pigs got it. Chuck Norris doesn't fear the recession. The recession fears Chuck Norris. Elvis never died. He just owes Chuck Norris money. When Chuck Norris falls in love, he breaks it. God once tried to make a deal with Chuck Norris. He said, "You may rule all the universe except for the earth, but that's only if you are okay with that." Chuck Norris can jump around the entire world. On August 27, 1893, Chuck Norris ripped a belch on the island of Krakatoa. It was the loudest sound in human history. There were no survivors. Doctors have found a cure for cancer. Too bad you can't eat Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris can make orange juice out of bananas. Chuck Norris is a Mother Nature father and old Winter's grandfather. Harry Potter needs 8 movies to seek and destroy Voldemort. Chuck Norris needs 4 seconds. There should be a Chuck Norris tribute band. Next. Chuck Norris can read a CD without nothing but 2 pieces of wood and a rock. Chuck Norris can make fire with ice and vice versa. Chuck Norris can separate diffuser molecule with roundhouse kick. Chuck Norris has 6th sense, it's fear sense. In the dark he can track you because he can sense your fear. It always works. The first bird Chuck Norris saw ran away, so he never eat a chicken. An elephant never forgets because Chuck Norris was their teacher. Chuck Norris can find hay in needle stack. Chuck Norris doesn't breathe. Air runs in his lungs for safety. Before feeling of work at Texas range, Chuck Norris is injected with 14 times the lethal dose of elephant tranquilizer. This is of course to limit his strength and mobility in an attempt to lower the fatality rate of actors he finds. This was created after Chuck Norris was born. Chuck Norris can win a staring contest while blinking. Chuck Norris is the reason why Wilder is hiding. Chuck Norris was originally casted for Braveheart, but then it would have been a 7-minute movie. Don't annoy Chuck Norris, he will roundhouse kick out you of the universe. Newton's third law is wrong. Also, it states that for each action there is equal and opposite reaction. There is no force equal in reaction to a Chuck Norris roundhouse kick. What happens when an immovable object meets unstoppable force? The burst of Chuck Norris. See the guy with the big bird on the left-hand corner. Here's your death. Run to Canada. If you drop a penny from the top of Empire State Building, it will kill someone. The Kama Sutra was written after Ursula spent 9 minutes. It's Chuck Norris' pool house. When Chuck Norris used 0.0000% of his strength, he disintegrated his opponent. If he used more, the universe could no longer exist. When FDR said there is nothing to fear except fear itself, he meant it. Fear was Chuck Norris' code name. Angelina Jolie can carve a belt. Chuck Norris can carve a ladder. If Chuck Norris were in the movie Nightmare on Elm Street, there would be renamed a Nightmare on the Chuck Norris Street, because nobody dared to get near him. Chuck Norris didn't quit smoking. Chuck Norris never quits. Chuck Norris can make a banana split. Chuck Norris can make a building bigger than the Empire State Building with only dirt, dung, and silver. Earth does not orbit the sun. The sun orbits Chuck Norris.